It's Wolf, and here I am with some Test Drive Unlimited 2. Or not Test Drive Unlimited 2. Oh my god, I'm asleep. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. I don't know why I said 2. I have not played 2 on stream or in general in quite a while. Anyway, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. It's been a while. No, I don't want PlayStation Plus. It's been a while since I played this, and it's been like 2 weeks, I think, or so since I streamed. Yeah. I wanted to do a stream because I wanted to tell you guys about a whole bunch of stuff. I feel like ever since I stopped using like Twitter and Blue Sky, the streams kind of have become my. Hang on. I wanted to bring my phone closer too. The streams have become a little bit of like my platform for updates, like regular updates about the channel and about my life and all of that kind of stuff. Let me just make sure. Okay. Yep, we're all set up. Also, apologies if the volume is a little too quiet or too loud on the game. I had been recording some stuff for a video, and I changed some of the volume settings, and they should actually sound better now, but if they sound weird, make sure to let me know, but I think it sounds okay. I guess I could just check the audio levels real quick. Let me see. Yeah, that seems fine. Although I need to turn the TV volume down, and I think we're good to go. So for one, Test Drive Unlimited 2, or not Unlimited 2, why do I keep saying Unlimited 2? Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown has had some updates since the last time I played it, including there's a new type of activity now. So if you guys remember previously, like, I like to do the car delivery ones, which I don't think I've done this one actually. I like to do the car delivery missions, and they've added a new type of mission that is similar, but not exactly the same. Instead of delivering cars, you're delivering people, and so it's kind of like a ride share app in game is how it's explained. And so I've done one of those. It was pretty cool. It works very similarly, but like since it's a person, they can ask you to do stuff, and so Solar Crown has a bunch of like you can like open the windows, turn the lights on, turn them off, that kind of thing. And so sometimes when you're driving and you're doing those missions, the person you're transporting will ask you to like open a window or change a radio station or whatever it might be. So that's pretty cool. So we might run into some of those. But yeah, so otherwise, I want to tell you guys what's been up with the channel and me and stuff. Not really anything too crazy, honestly, but it's been a busy week. Busy couple weeks. So for one, yesterday was insane. Kind of. I mean, okay, I guess insane is a little bit of a strong word for it, but yesterday was such a oof day. I was thinking about streaming yesterday, but then I ended up not doing so because like it was crazy. So it's been like I think it's been cold kind of everywhere in the US right now. I've been hearing there's like some sort of Arctic thing or whatever going on. Which sucks because I do not do well in cold weather, as I've mentioned before. It is part of the reason why I moved across the country to a warmer place. But yeah, it was really cold yesterday, and at my job, they like don't seem to have the heat on yet, which kind of sucks. So I was stuck in the cold like all day yesterday, and I think it's supposed to be warming up now, at least where I live. But yeah, yesterday kind of sucked, and then today wasn't as bad during the daytime, but then it got really cold at night again. So that was not great. Yeah, and then also found out that one of my family members is in the hospital, and it's not anything too crazy, but it really freaked me out at first because I got a phone call from a cousin who I don't really hear from that much. Not that we don't get along or anything, but I've just not really ever talked to them. So I was like, oh, this is weird. And yeah, it's just one of my older family members, I guess, fell and hurt themselves a little bit. Not anything too crazy, but I was worried, of course, like, you know, when I got the phone call about it, because my cousin didn't really tell me that much, so I didn't know what was going on. And of course, like, falling over is not good either, but the family member who got hurt should be okay, so that's good. I should probably call back again at some point and like check in with them, but sometimes whenever something like serious happens, I'm one of the type of people that actually kind of wants to leave people alone, because I know it can be really annoying sometimes when like your friends and family care a little too much if something is going on with you. I've had to deal with that before, where like something's happened or whatever with me or like a family member, and then it's like the entire universe wants to get in contact with you constantly, and it makes it really tough to like do things. So I don't want to be contributing to that issue, because I think that that family member who got injured, him and his like immediate like family was, I think, a little tired of like everybody in the family reaching out. Um, but yeah, that's been the past couple days. But what else have I been thinking about? That was the thing. I also didn't stream yesterday because I partially didn't really have all too much to say. But I've been thinking about the channel a lot lately, and I was like, I'm always kind of going back and forth about how much time I want slash can spend on videos and stuff on this channel, and streams too. And I think I'm gonna try to take a little bit of a different approach to it for a while, which is another thing that I kind of say pretty often, but like for real this time, because I've already been doing it. Um, I was thinking to myself, right, like a couple things. I was thinking like about social media in general, because so I don't actually look at that much social media anymore, aside from YouTube and aside from like YouTubers that I already watch and stuff. But when my girlfriend came to visit a couple weeks ago, she likes to watch like Instagram Reels, and she's a little more on social media than I am, at least on like, or at least on like newer stuff on social media, I guess. Um, and so like when she was here, I would watch Instagram Reels with her and stuff, and it kind of hit me just how weird the social media landscape is right now. And not only just stuff that she was showing me, but every now and again, like I'll get YouTube suggestions from like more big like current YouTubers and Twitch streamers and stuff. Uh, and it just had me thinking about, yeah, how weird it is on the internet right now, I guess, in terms of like success. Because I was thinking about, so some of the reels that I saw from my girlfriend would be like cooking videos and things like that. And it kind of hit me how a lot of these videos, oh, and I also had watched a Vine compilation lately. And so it was like watching these old Vines in comparison to current stuff that's on Instagram and YouTube Shorts and whatnot. Like, did that person just drive off a cliff? What is going on in this game? It's still a little bit of a janky game, I guess. Oh, I need to turn the radio off too. I'm sure classical music probably won't get me a copyright strike, but actually, I think there's a good chunk of music in this game that doesn't get copyrighted on YouTube, which is nice. But anyway, so I was just thinking about, there's like these cooking videos and stuff that I was watching with her, and how they are kind of, they look like a person's just making them in their house, but then if you really think about the production quality of it, it's really like intense. You can tell that it's a video that was recorded in really high quality, like 4K or probably even 8K, and like edited a lot and all that kind of thing. It just had me thinking, like, how much of this really is a single person operation? Because it could be. I mean, especially if it's your whole thing. If you're making like one like TikTok a day and that's like your whole thing, then that probably is doable by one person. But it just reminded me of this like conspiracy theory I had heard a couple years ago about YouTubers, and how there's like a bunch of like larger YouTubers and stuff who are not actually like individual creators. And it's not even that hard to really find, because there's a lot of situations where like there's people on YouTube who do stuff and they mention that they have editors or whatever. And I've always kind of thought that's a little strange, because I remember when I was younger and YouTubers, like being a YouTuber was just kind of first becoming a thing. Like you were just starting to have people like PewDiePie and stuff who were making a job and living out of YouTube and actually becoming like famous doing so. A lot of times it was like a solo effort, there wasn't really like editors and stuff. And so my point is that there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, I think, that still looks like it did when it was just like a one-man operation, but there's like a lot of big teams behind some of these channels. And And sometimes I think it is like commercial operations too, like that there's actual companies and stuff that do that kind of thing. And it's not like a surprise. Like there are some channels that are pretty open about that, but I think that there's a lot of individual YouTubers and stuff who maybe don't necessarily disclose that, but they're actually kind of their channel is being produced like a TV show by like a whole team and stuff. Um, and it's not that's not to dig at anybody. I mean that's fine. Like if that's how your channel is worked out, and that's how it's worked out. But it also just kind of makes me question things like doing stuff all by myself. That like wow that's really kind of hard to compete with. Because I mean everything on this channel with the exception of like a small number of things I've done by myself. Like my girlfriend has helped me out with a couple things, but otherwise I've recorded all the videos, I've edited all the videos, I've done almost all the voiceover work. So yeah. And the other thing too was on the inverse of that, I feel like there's also a lot of content that is kind of just repeated. And that's I don't know how to feel about that either, because there's like I sometimes I watch YouTube shorts. Like I'll go on a spree where I'll just watch YouTube shorts for a little while and I'll just scroll. And I've noticed that there's a lot of stuff on there where it's like this is where the whole thing where the Vine video the Vine compilation I saw comes into play. So watching old Vines, which are really not even that old still if you think about it, but watching Vines had me thinking about how when you watch a Vine, a lot of times it is like original. Like the person in the video is actually saying something or making some sort of joke or doing some sort of comedy or whatever. Whereas modern short form video entertainment, social media stuff like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, a lot of it's repeated, and it's like the people in it don't necessarily actually do that much. Um, is the whole thing with how like a sound will become popular, and then there'll be a dance that's associated with it, and then there'll just be a ton of people that do that dance, and that's kind of it. Or there's even some channels that their whole thing is based on just kind of doing the same thing but slightly differently with like different outfits and stuff. And again, I'm not trying to like criticize anybody for that. That's just how the social media landscape is now, I guess. And it's good that they've adapted. But there's like cosplay channels and stuff that I've seen that that's their whole thing is they'll do like a cosplay and they'll that's their whole channel will just be them doing cosplays, and but their actual videos are just doing like the same dance over and over in that or in like different cosplays. And I don't know, I feel like it's a weird one because there's also on top of that I've started to notice that there's a lot of small channels that like somehow the people in them are like going and doing all this like really expensive looking stuff, and I'm just like, either you must have some sort of money behind your channel that's more than just advertising and stuff, or like you were already rich to begin with or something. um and I know that this maybe sounds mean, and I'm not really trying to sound mean, but it's just like my point is I it had me thinking about, well, okay, so with my channel, what exactly, like, is there an audience for my channel? Because I think that there's a lot of people that do the same type of video that I do, where it's pretty straightforward. It's just like gaming videos, and it's let's plays and sometimes more complex videos and stuff like that. And it's not anything like crazy, but it's what's this? Oh, here's one of those things. One of the person transports. Let's try to do this. Oh wait, no, there we go. There's a lot of channels and stuff that I think do kind of what I do. I've mentioned before that two of my fellow favorite YouTubers to watch are Vinny Fine Sauce and Al Chess Breach, and I make kind of the same type of stuff as them, although maybe not necessarily as much time is put into my stuff because I just don't have the time to put into it. Um, but I was thinking about it, like there's people like that that are popular still because BMG Alley, hello BMG Alley. Uh, yeah, I I guess what I'm trying to say is oh god, I keep getting distracted. I shouldn't have taken a nap right before the stream. There's a lot of people that do the stuff that like that I do, and yet I feel like it's harder to break into it with like a new channel doing that kind of thing. And so is there a speed limiter on this one? No, okay. Sometimes they have like limits. Oh. Yeah, well, I can't really help it when there's a thing in my way, can I, Tom Chaston? So, I'm thinking about taking a different approach to the channel, which is that I'm, like, part of my issue sometimes why it takes me so long to make videos or get, like, different ideas done with is because I get sort of, oh no, this is not going well. I get sort of, like, wait, where am I going? Sometimes it's like I get sort of frustrated if I'm not able to do like a whole video in one sitting, if I'm not able to like record and edit and everything. And I think I need to try to get out of that a little bit, because sometimes I think I set sort of artificial deadlines for myself. And where is this GPS taking me? What? Why didn't it take me down this road? What I was saying, setting a lot of artificial deadlines for myself, which then subsequently kind of stresses me out, which then makes me procrastinate a little bit, even though I try not to procrastinate really. And so I think I'm gonna, because the truth is, I was thinking about it, right? Well, like, I don't really, I don't really have that many actual deadlines in my life, and I feel like sometimes when I try to set them for myself, it sort of stresses me out. So I'm gonna try to take a little bit of a more relaxed approach to the YouTube video stuff and just kind of work on things when I feel like working on them, which is already sort of how I do it. But I think I need to do that some more, because like, so yesterday and today, you know, I kind of thought to myself, like, oh, maybe I want to work on a video, like, I have time, I should work on a video, but then I was like, no, like, I just kind of want to watch a movie, and I did, and then subsequently I ended up being more productive, because after I was done watching the movie that I was watching, I ended up working, like, a long time on a video and getting quite a bit of stuff done. So that's going to be my approach to it. You guys probably won't notice, like a difference, I suppose, but, yeah, that's... Sorry, I'm so distracted. I need to stream games more that I can talk while I play. And having to choose dialogue choices and stuff in this one is not helping. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to keep, like, repeating myself. Yeah. So, this just reminded me playing Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. Cool real-life story to tell you guys. The other day, I was driving, and, you know, in-game right now, I'm driving a Bentley Continental. I saw two really cool Bentleys in real life the other day. I've talked about it before. There's like a kind of fancy neighborhood. Oh my god, did I just massively divert myself? I think I did. Holy crap, I think it just added like 5 miles to where I need to go. What is this GPS doing? Yeah, so I've mentioned before, like, I don't really live in a fancy neighborhood, but there's like a ultra wealthy neighborhood not too far from where I live, and so if I ever feel like car spotting, I just kind of go over that way. Well, I was not even in that neighborhood the other day, but my point is there's a handful of people around here who own like Rolls Royces and stuff and things like that, and I see them every now and again. I will never forget the day that I was going to an Olive Garden and across the street saw a Rolls Royce going through a McDonald's drive-through. But anyway, I was on the highway the other day, and I was on the phone with my girlfriend, actually, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and there was... Where am I going? Where is this GPS taking me? Yeah, okay, I didn't think that mission was going to work out. I looked in my rearview mirror, and I saw a Bentley Bentayga. I think it was a Bentayga. It looked like a Bentayga, but I couldn't exactly tell because it was behind me most of the time. It was yellow with like black accents, so it was kind of like the Bumblebee type thing going on. It was super nice looking. I think it was like a couple years older model, but it was like shiny and everything. It had whatever, it's like a swan, I think, on the front of Bentley's, and it looked super cool. And I wish I could have taken a picture, but obviously I couldn't because I was driving. But it was so nice, and it looked like it had an Instagram handle on it, which makes me think that whoever owns it must like do something with it on Instagram or whatever. But I didn't see what the actual Instagram handle was, but it was a super nice looking Bentley. It kind of looked like, I might be like assuming here, but it kind of looked like a situation where it was a couple years older, but then they maybe like had modded it a little bit or something. Cause yeah, it didn't look stock, which is, I mean, that's pretty common for Bentleys in video games, but not in real life because they're so expensive in real life. BMG Alley, nice. Yeah, it was really cool. And then the second Bentley that I saw was actually just on this like normal street. I was driving, I don't even remember where, I think to work. And there was this, like, I was just on this normal street, and kind of out of the corner of my eye, I see this really bright gray car. And sure enough, it was another Bentley, and that one was actually just like this one in the game, like a newer Bentley Continental. That was really cool looking. Although I kind of thought that the Bentayga I saw on the highway was a little bit cooler, just because like it was louder, not physically louder like volume wise, but just like color wise louder, which is really cool. Yeah, it would be so cool to own a Bentley eventually. Or a Rolls Royce. Like I said, there's that fancy neighborhood nearby, and they have cars like that for sale sometimes online. And I've even gone to like the fancy dealerships over there and just looked at stuff. I think I even mentioned that I test drove a Bentley one time. Yeah, they're so cool. The thing with Bentleys, yeah, I know, lost percentage because didn't wait for the thing to go up quick enough. The thing with Bentleys is they're such a weirdly depreciating car, because like some of them do depreciate a lot and some of them don't depreciate a lot, and I don't know, it's not like a Maserati where like a Maserati is really expensive at first and then you can pick one up for like the price of a Ford Focus or whatever. But yeah, because like Bentleys start out as, you know, over $100,000, and then like 10 years later you can pick them up for the price of just a normal sports car, which always feels kind of weird. Like I really like when I've been looking at it, I really kind of like the Bentley Continental Super Sport, which is, I think those were in 2010 and around then, so they're older than 10 years. They're like 16 years old now or whatever, and you can find those for between $30,000 and $60,000, like depending on what you're looking at. And I don't know, it's like, man, maybe if I save up a bunch of money, by the time I need a new car, maybe I could afford one of those. But we'll see. The other thing too, though, is with those cars like that, is just, it's the maintenance costs that really, really kill it. Because, like, I've noticed before when some of those pop up, like, the dealerships will have free Carfax, so you can look at the history of the car and everything, and a bunch of those cars will have really low mileage, because they'll have had like 3 owners, and each owner will only have driven like 5,000 miles, and then probably realize an oil change is like multiple thousands of dollars on one of those, unless you do it yourself or find like a small mechanic that will do it for you. Yeah, those cars can be awful to maintain, and I don't even necessarily think it's like hard to maintain them. It's just that they have so many parts that need to be removed and stuff. Like I looked up online how to do an oil change for Bentley Continental, because I was like, there's people that own these that definitely work on them themselves, and I did find a tutorial, and part of the reason why it takes so long to do one on there is because I guess like the skid plate on them has a ton of screws, and it just takes forever to take apart, which of course if you're getting that done at a dealership, you're gonna pay for all that time. So, oh, and also thanks for whoever liked the stream. I just noticed that. Wow, what is with the colors right now? They're like all over the place. Speaking of future videos and stuff, I was mentioning that earlier. I wanted to mention, so part of the reason too why it might take a while before any new videos come out is because I'm finally trying to work on some of the really big videos that I've had ideas for a while, and I actually have started working on one. I want to do a review of The Division, and that one's taking a while. I got all the audio for it recorded and edited, but I'm working on getting like the actual video clips for it done now. So that's probably gonna take a while. But then I also have a handful of other like larger videos that I want to do, and with my new kind of like chilled out approach to making videos and stuff, I'm kind of jumping back and forth between a lot of videos more too. It's like if I don't really feel like editing audio or whatever, but I want to work on a video, sometimes I'll work on something on a different video. So there might be times where like I'll have like a handful of videos come out at once because I kind of worked on them simultaneously. That's sort of what's happening right now with some of these larger videos that I want to do. Like I'm working on different things on them at different times, and they're kind of going back and forth in terms of progress. And in particular, one of them, I really want to try to get done with. I really need to record some stuff for at least soon because I'm not totally sure how long the services for it are going to continue to be up. I've got a video I want to make about the Infamous series, and that requires, and actually one about the crew also, which I need to record stuff from the crew too for, and I don't know how long that game's going to be up either. Um, but Infamous 2 in particular had user-generated content, and I need to record some gameplay of that. And from what I can tell, the servers for that are actually still incredibly somehow online. And I don't know how long that'll last. That's something that could shut down any day. And so I really need to get on recording that. And yeah. I've also been watching some TV shows and movies and stuff lately, though, and I started playing Death Stranding too, so I figured I would talk about that stuff a little bit. I watched a really weird movie earlier today. So a lot of you guys probably know American Psycho. It's a really famous movie and also a really famous book. Patrick Bateman and all that stuff, and you know, the stock bro gone mad kind of thing. Some of y'all might not know there's a sequel to that movie, American Psycho 2. And it stars Mila Kunis, and I had never heard of it, and I'd never heard anybody mention it, and my girlfriend, who like watches more movies than I and stuff, had never heard of it either. I just totally wandered across it, but it's a real thing, and apparently, so the plot of it is very strange. And the reason for that is because apparently, like, the people who made it got the rights to make it legally and everything, but it involves pretty much nobody from the original movie, I guess. The plot of the second movie is, so Patrick Bateman at the beginning of the movie, he has this babysitter over as one of his, like, you know, murder victims, but she brought the kid she's babysitting, and the kid she's babysitting kills Patrick Bateman, and you know, it kind of screws her up in the head, and she subsequently also becomes like a psychopath, and that's the basis of the movie. And honestly, I don't really want to say any more than that because I could probably talk about it more, but it's such a strange movie that I don't really want to spoil it. But it's almost like it really doesn't know what to do with itself. It's weird because like sometimes it's just not very good, and then other times it'll be like, oh wait, maybe this movie actually does get good. And there's like points where it actually references the first movie a surprising amount. But yeah, it definitely doesn't hit the same mark as the first movie, and it's an oddball movie. And I think I realized part of the reason why that movie is so bad, it's the music choice in it. There's like, the first American Psycho is a pretty serious movie, and I feel like the music choice and the soundtrack of it and stuff made sense with that. But American Psycho 2 has this really stupid soundtrack. Like, a lot of the music in it sounds really goofy, and it isn't fitting at all for the things that are occurring in the movie, like the more serious events. It just has the dumbest music. And I don't know why they would do that. But yeah, that's my mini review of American Psycho 2, I guess. It's strange. I don't even think it's on any streaming services or anything, but if you ever happen to wander across a DVD of it and you saw the original, I would recommend seeing the second one just because it is such a strange follow-up. I always think some of those follow-ups that have like nothing to do with the original are always kind of interesting, like when they have a totally different set of actors or whatever. But yeah. And then alongside that, I want to probably tonight try to watch, because I actually am streaming relatively early compared to usual. I kind of want to watch S. Darko. I really liked Donnie Darko, and it took me a while to get my hands on S Darko, and I actually think I have S Darko on Blu-ray. S Darko is the sequel to Donnie Darko, and it follows his younger sister, and also takes place in like the desert. And I know that that one got a lot of bad reviews, and I've heard it's kind of strange, but I think that that one actually follows the plot a little more clearly than like American Psycho did. American Psycho 2 did with the original American Psycho. So yeah, I might try to watch that later today. Did I not mark that? There we go. You can do race. I don't usually end up doing races that much when I play this game. And I started watching a TV show. It doesn't have a ton of episodes, and I only have one season of it right now. But One Foot in the Grave. It's like a British sitcom from the 90s, and it's about this like older guy who kind of gets forced to retire from his job, and he's just sort of miserable about it. Another cool thing that updated in Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown is the Frim thing, like I just did where I cashed that money there. It used to have a limit of 5 per day for some reason, and it appears that they've taken away that limit, which is nice. Because the previous entries in this series didn't have limits, so I didn't really get why they had that in this one, but they have subsequently removed that, which is cool. What was I? Yeah, One Foot in the Grave. British sitcom from the 90s, and it's kind of interesting. I don't know. Whenever the weather gets cold, I kind of it reminds me of back when I was in the UK, and I just kind of wanted to watch like a UK show. So I was like, yeah, why not? So I watched it, and I've been watching it. It's pretty cool. That being said, I haven't actually like watched a sitcom in a while. I forgot how sort of slow moving they are sometimes. In that one, does something really interesting where it doesn't always show you everything that's actually going on. Like, there's a lot of time skips in it, and I don't mean like huge like swaths of time that are skipped over, but just like a couple hours you won't necessarily see what has occurred. And it's an interesting style. And alongside that stuff, I've been playing Death Stranding 2 finally. I bought that a while ago. I bought that like 4, 5, maybe 6 months ago, and I just didn't get around to it. I had replayed the original Death Stranding in preparation for playing it, and then just didn't get to playing it yet. So I finally am like, like I said, I'm gonna try to stop forcing so many deadlines on myself and just do stuff. And so I started playing that, and I'm not super far into it yet. I've only delivered like 3 deliveries, but I'm impressed with it. I think, for one, I've heard a lot of people say that Death Stranding 2 looks really good, and it does look really good. It is a super realistic looking game. It really captures like, and it's one of those things too where, at least in the beginning when you're in Mexico in that game, like there's a lot of just brown in it. It's funny because like, I wonder if this is what they were trying to do back on the PS3 when they made every game brown and gray, because this is how you actually should have done it. It looks really good. And then also if you start playing it, it's one of those games, for some reason it has a performance mode, but it doesn't actually tell you that. If you go into the settings and you change performance mode on, it runs at 60 FPS and it looks even better. I guess the resolution probably takes a tiny hit, but it still looks incredible. So that's really cool. And I also feel like they actually listened to like a lot of the complaints about the first game and improved on them. For one, when I replayed the first game, I kind of have forgotten how slow the original Death Stranding is. Like, the game explains a lot to you at the beginning. And throughout, like, you're constantly getting phone calls when you're playing the original Death Stranding. But in the second game, that doesn't happen as much. I mean, it takes maybe like 15 minutes to actually get into the gameplay, which is pretty good compared to the first game. I don't even know if it's totally 15 minutes, but you kind of get right into delivering stuff, which is nice. Because the first game took a long time to get you started. And there's just a lot of really nice housekeeping things. Like when Sam is in a private room in the first game, if you wanted to like do like use the bathroom, use the shower, clean Sam up, like it could take a while because you had to individually do each thing. In Death Stranding 2, it's like all combinated. So like when you go to use the bathroom, like Sam does shower, bathroom, and it all gets done at once, which is cool and save time. And it also feels a little bit more forgiving. The game is not as intensely hard as the original game could be at times. I mean, Death Stranding I don't even think is necessarily like a hard game. It's just like a complex game and like a slow game. But yeah, Death Stranding 2 is really cool. I've been enjoying it a lot, and it is still kind of a slow game, but I'm glad that I finally started playing it because I really, really like the first game. And I'm thinking I might even start some other games too, because normally I like to try to just focus on like one game at a time, but I really haven't sat down and played any video games lately. I've bought a lot of games and stuff, but not actually sat down and like played them, and I've been trying to do that. So 10 domination races. So there's that, and I have another playthrough I've wanted to record forever, so I might try to do that soon as well. Oh, speaking of devices and stuff, I finally got a fat Mac Pro. Like an old one. Yeah, I can't afford like a $7,000 new one, but one of the old ones, I think it's actually like the first model year of it too. I didn't realize just how old it was. It's a 2006, I think, Mac Pro. One of the massive like stainless steel ones. I have no real use for it, but I wanted one and it was really cheap, and so I couldn't help myself. And this Mac Pro is part of the reason why I'm not really buying any games or anything now, is because I am actually fully out of space now that I have this thing. Like, I have legitimately no room left. Yeah. Didn't I just do this race? Why is it still marked? Huh. That being said, a new SpongeBob game comes out next week, and maybe I'm thinking about buying that, and the new where's the nearest? There we go. The new Call of Duty comes out on Friday. Although I don't think I'm gonna buy it on Friday. I had a 15 first impressions where I kind of talked about that, and yeah, I'm probably gonna buy it. Like, oh god, hang on. This is what the cold does to me, man. Like cold weather, it really messes with me. Um, Hang on. Actually, I need to go blow my nose now. I coughed really hard. Hang on. Let me put the BRB screen up, and I'll be right back in a second. I need to go get a drink of water real quick too. I'll be right back. I've returned. Toss that there. Pull this back up, and I'm back. Right, what was I saying? 15 first impressions, and Call of Duty. Yeah, Black Ops 7 coming out on Friday, and they are doing another midnight release for it at some GameStops, and I thought about it, and like, I don't know, there's a chance that I might go get it, but well, for one, I need to save up some money. I have had to spend a ridiculous amount of money these past 2 weeks. I had to get some stuff done with my car. And what else? I had a bunch of other expenses that just kind of all popped at one time, so I really need to save up some money. So don't know about buying that one right on release day. And also, I just wasn't that impressed with the beta, so might just hold off on it for a while. Maybe closer to Black Friday or something. It probably won't be discounted by Black Friday, but maybe then, or maybe even next year, like in January or February or something. I am curious to play it. For the story, I really like the Black Ops stories, but yeah, we'll see. Um, and then, but yeah, Club Penguin or not Club Penguin. Good God, I'm just saying things. Where did Club Penguin go from? I was thinking kids games. The new SpongeBob game comes out next Tuesday, and that one's actually not that expensive. It's only like $40, so I'm thinking about trying to pick that one up. Um, Thing is, like, I didn't pre-order it because, like, if I want to get it, I want to get it early, and they're not gonna have a midnight release for that or anything. And there's not any like 24-hour stores that sell video games anymore. I remember back when I was younger and Walmart was 24 hours. Like you go to Walmart at midnight, even if there wasn't like a big launch party, and get a game at midnight. But I do. So I think like since it's a kids game, I do think that local stores are going to have copies of it in, because I don't know if y'all have noticed this in your areas, but where I live, like local stores like Walmart, GameStop, Target, all those Kmart, all those places, none of them have like any new inventory ever anymore. But kids games usually are kind of an exception to this, just because I'm sure that those sell really well. So I I I think that they'll probably have that in stock on launch day at a bunch of places. And I think Walmart in particular has a really good chance of having it in launch day. And the other thing with Walmart is even though Walmart isn't open 24 hours, Walmart opens really early. A lot of Walmarts open at like 6 a.m. And so I'm contemplating next Tuesday, perhaps I will go really early and try to see if like one of my Walmarts has it in stock at like 6 a.m. Um, there's also though there was my one of my Walmarts near me the other day when the Outer Worlds 2 came out. I wasn't even looking for it and I didn't buy it, but I just happened to be in that Walmart and I went to the video game section and I was just looking there and they actually had the Outer Worlds 2 out on the shelves like an entire day early. So I might even swing by the day before and see if that happens with that game. But yeah, that was crazy. It was like it was really early that morning too, and it was the whole day before that game came out. And I was like, oh my gosh, right here. And I was kind of tempted to buy it just because it was there early, but I'm not really that interested in the Outer Worlds 2, at least not right now. I played through the first one; it was cool, but it's like it's okay, but. Really hope a new racing game comes out soon. I was been playing some racing games lately, or wanting to play some. So like this one, Solar Crown, but also like some Gran Turismo and stuff like that. Uh, there hasn't been any new racing games in a while. Um, I know that like Forza Horizon 5 has that been announced? I think so. Yeah, I think they had a teaser for it or whatever. That one's going to take place in Japan, which I know everybody's been saying, like, finally! Um, which is going to be cool, but I'm a little curious how that'll work, because, like, Japan has some really small roads. So, like, I mean, but I'm sure they'll figure out a way to make it cool and fun and everything. Maybe I'll even buy that one on launch day when that comes out. But that one's coming out, but, like, yeah, it feels like there's not really been that many new racing games. It's been a while since there's been a new Need for Speed. Um, Gran Turismo 7 is still getting a lot of updates and is still for sale for like $70. So I don't know if that one's gonna necessarily be getting any new launches in there for a while. Although with my first Gran Turismo, that like demo version of Gran Turismo 7, you would have thought maybe they would have used that as a way to kind of I don't know. Maybe they did use that as a way to gauge popularity, and maybe it wasn't as popular as they were hoping. So maybe they aren't going to make a new entry for a while. But which honestly, just talking about it kind of makes me want to play some Gran Turismo 7. But yeah, And I don't know. Need for Speed. What was the most recent one? The one with ASAP Rocky all over it. Unbound? Was that the one I'm thinking of? Is that the name of it? Hang on, let me Google this. I need to check this because I feel like I'm gonna lose my mind. Yes, Need for Speed Unbound, the one with ASAP Rocky all over it. That one, I question if that one actually sold very well because I feel like I really didn't hear that much about that game. Honestly, I feel like the last couple of Need for Speed games I really haven't heard anything about because the Need for Speed that came out in 2013, that one was pretty praised, I think, for like the graphics and everything. Like I think people like that one quite a bit. But like I don't know if that one even sold that well. And then Payback came out, but Payback kind of sucked. Like no offense. But yeah, Payback kind of was not great. And then Heat came out, and Heat was pretty cool. But Heat was like also one that I really didn't hear that much about. And Unbound, the same thing. Like it was really cool and it was fun to play, but I my cat just hiccuped in her sleep. But there really wasn't. I didn't really see that much press about it or anything. So I don't know if we're getting a new Need for Speed for a while. I'm thinking about possibly buying NBA 2K26 at some point soon too though, cuz like every few years I'll get in this like kick for like really wanting to play an NBA game, and I'm usually like, well, I'll just buy the most recent one, why not? But then I never really stick with them that long, but I'm thinking about buying that maybe around Black Friday if it goes on sale. I think it's already on sale a couple places right now. But it like I really actually enjoyed the NBA games. I just don't end up playing them that much. But I remember I got, which one was it? Gosh, I'm trying to think. 2K. Jeez, I got I think it was 2K14 when the PS4 came out, cause I had got my PS4 for Christmas and it was a gift from my mom, and I remember her telling me she actually had to dump like a bunch of money onto it because the only way she could get it was like the big bundle that came with like every launch game. So that was like really expensive, and I'm still thankful that she got me that. But so she had gotten me 2K 13 or 14 because that came with it, and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll check it out. Like I'm not super interested in sports games, but I checked it out and really enjoyed it. And then a couple years later, I wanted to get 2K17 because like I was graduating high school, and or was it 2K18? I don't remember exactly which one it was that year, but I wanted to get that, and because I was graduating high school, and like a lot of the times in the 2K games, like you're starting out, like you're starting the game like going to college, and I was like, oh, like I'm gonna go to college, so I got that, and then I think I just recently actually bought 2K21 because I found a sealed copy for really cheap somewhere. Oh Jesus. Okay, hang on, we're restarting this one. Yeah, and I haven't played that much, but I think it was either 2K20 or 2K21. Although maybe it was 23. I don't know, but I think it was 21, and I remember thinking to myself like, oh, this will be kind of an interesting one because like in real life the NBA wasn't really playing that year because of the pandemic. And this reminds me of another thing. I might actually make a video about this. I got one of the stupidest copies of a game that I ever have seen the other day. FIFA 21 on Xbox Series X Ultimate Edition. And I don't want to spoil it because I might make a video about it, but let me just tell you guys, this is one of the
dumbest ways I have ever seen to distribute a video game, and it literally doesn't even work anymore. Um, yeah, I might make a short video just exploring that one, because that one was so... It is... I do not understand at all what they were thinking when they, like, made that version of the game. And also, I don't... Like, I feel bad for anybody who bought that version of the game. But anyway, yeah, especially when it came out originally, because it was, like, expensive when it came out originally. Um, but yeah. Trying to think if I have any other news. Not really. I might try to go visit my wonderful girlfriend again soon. Which is, it's a little bit of a last minute thing, but I'm not totally sure. Like, I'm not sure if it's gonna work out, because here in the U.S., like, the whole government shutdown thing has been, it's the longest government shutdown in American history, and it has actually, like, started to really screw with a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of people, like, I'm not gonna get into the politics of all of it and, like, my personal opinions on stuff and everything, but like, if you guys have been watching the news or whatever, you'll probably know that, like, food stamp benefits and stuff, SNAP, is what it's called now. Those have, like, been suspended for now, and that's, like, messing with a lot of people because it's making it hard for them to afford food. But the thing that has to do with traveling is that, like, airports are really getting bogged down right now because there's like, the TSA and air traffic control are both federal, and they're federal agencies, so the workers get paid by the federal government. So when there's a government shutdown, those guys don't get paid. Usually they'll get back pay, so they'll get, like, the pay that they missed once the government reopens, but for right now they haven't gotten paid in, like, well, over a month. It's been like 40 days. And so, like, a bunch of people have quit, or they've had... Dog, I can't go down that. They've quit, or they've had to, like, take days off to go, you know, do whatever. And so that has been really messing with flights, and it's gotten to the point now where the, like, the Federal Aviation Administration, I think is what it is, or agency, the FAA, has, like, ordered airports to, like, suspend certain flights and stuff, and, like, reduce how many flights are going out and stuff. And so, long story short, there's actually a new route to fly to see my girlfriend, and it's a really nice one. It's actually significantly shorter than the other ones that I've taken before, but it appears that it, like, keeps getting delayed right now, and I'm a little concerned about that, because, long story short, it involves a really short layover somewhere, which normally I've heard is possible. But with the delays and stuff, that could really screw the whole thing up. So I gotta, I'm debating on it, but it kind of sucks because, like, I really need to, like, if I'm gonna do it, I need to, like, buy a ticket, like, soon, because they keep getting more expensive. But, we'll see. That just reminds me, I wanted to see, I've been checking to see that flight, like, if it's been on time or not, recently. This one. Well, actually, I guess it hasn't gone a couple days, but. I think I told you guys about last time I went to see my girlfriend. That was almost a big mess because I had a layover. It was a normal length layover, and it was a layover within the U.S., so I didn't even have to go through security again or anything. But long story short, the flight that I took to get to I took a flight from where I live in the south to a bigger city up north, and then layover was there, and then over to the UK. The flight from where I live to the bigger city in the north was, delayed by, like, I want to say it was delayed by, like, 2 hours or something. It was pretty much my entire layover that it was delayed when I got to the next airport. And I feel like I've told this story before, so I don't want to repeat myself a bunch, but it's been a while. So, like, I got to the next airport, and I literally had to sprint all the way across the airport. The terminal that it was in was kind of shaped like a Y, and I had to run all the way. The thing was, too, originally it said that the gate that I was going to need to go to was, like, one gate over, so I wasn't even that worried about it still, but then I got there and it took forever to get off the airplane. And like as I'm getting off the plane, it was like, "Oh, your next flight is boarding. Doors are closing." And I'm like not even off my current plane yet. So I had to sprint all the way down one leg of the Y and all the way up the other leg of the Y. And I got to the gate and I thought that it surely had like taken off without me, but I kind of get up to the gate and like um I remember like the lady was like, what's your name?" And I told her, and she was like, I um I remember I was like, my name Quentin, and I said my last name, and she was like, it was this Latina lady, and she was like, "Well, Quentin, you better get your booty down on that plane." And I was like, "Oh my god." Um, yeah, and so I barely made it onto that flight. I remember I was like out of breath for a while, but I made it. So that was all that mattered. But that was probably the most stressful flight layover that I've ever had. Um, well, aside from one time when I was in the UK and I had a layover there that almost didn't work out because it was in London and the security lines that day were just insane. And yeah, that was bad. Oh, also speaking of future video stuff, so I um I was gonna make a video about multiplayer in Waddle Forever because somebody had asked me about how to do that, and so I was gonna do a video about that, and I was investigating it the other day, and I couldn't get it to work, so I had sort of given up on that video for a little while. But then I got a response on my comment to the first comment from I got a response from I think the name is Nar, like gnarly, but it might be Nhar. I'm not totally sure, but I've been pronouncing it like Nar in my mind because, like I said, it sounds like gnarly, like a surfer would say. But Nar responded to my comment, who's like the lead developer of Waddle Forever, and had said that it does work, that I was probably doing something wrong, and gave some more clear instructions on how to get it to work. So I'll have to take another look at that and try to see if I can get that set up, because that would be really cool if I could get that set up. I managed to get it working kind of over LAN a little bit, but it wasn't consistent, so I think I was doing something wrong. I'll have to look into it some more, though, and see if I can get it to work. Because if I can, which it sounds like I should be able to, then I will have to make a video on that soon. And also, other videos that I need to make soon. I've been sent a bunch of keys for some reason lately for 15 first impressions. Well, I mean, I don't know if they know that I'd make a 15 first impressions for it, but there's a couple games that I've been sent keys for that I didn't even request, that I need to look at, that I might play. There was one horror game, but I don't think I'm gonna do one on that one, because normally I do 15 first impressions on pretty much everything that gets sent to me, but I'm not really a fan of like jump scare horror games and stuff, and that's kind of what that was. And I'm just a weakling. I don't think I would have fun playing that, and I don't think it would be a good video, so I probably won't do that one. But I got sent another one too, and then there was one that I actually requested that I forgot or even requested, so I will have to do that one, because I try to do 15 first impressions on everything I request. Yeah, it's like an indie game with a really goofy title. I think it was called like Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. I accidentally opened a portal to hell in the favela, and I need to close it. Um, so I'll have to take a look at that one. That one seems interesting. And I mean to make a 15 first impressions on the new Skate at some point. But like I said, some of this stuff might take a while, because I'm forcing myself to slow down with all of my goals and stuff, because I don't want to be stressed out. So yeah. And of course, remember, in a little over a month, Christmas stream from 10 p.m. to usually 2 a.m. Christmas Eve to Christmas Day. It's kind of a yearly tradition, and that's when I usually like wrap up the year. I usually play Black Ops Cold War Zombies, but sometimes I play something else too. I'm gonna play it on Xbox Series X this year, because I think think that's the only place other than PC that I haven't done it yet. I've kind of rotated through the years because I did it on PS5 like twice, I think, and then I did it on PS4 and then Xbox One, and Xbox Series X is the only console left that I haven't done that on yet. So, and I think I'm probably gonna do one more car delivery or race, and then I'm probably gonna end the stream because it's been about an hour, and I gotta go watch S Darko. What's this? Oh, the Pininfarina. Yeah, let's deliver this. I think they added some new cars to the game too, because I don't remember there being a like Pininfarina. There's a W Motors like in Hyper Sports, which I don't remember being in the game and stuff before. So. Oh, I gotta tell you guys about a crazy dream I had today too. So I fell asleep for a little while earlier. I had this crazy dream. It felt really real, and I wish it was. I had this dream where, of all the people, my grandma and I, we were at a casino, and we were playing video poker for some reason, and we both hit. So like we were playing, and she hit for like $200,000 in my dream, and then I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like I wish I could hit for that much. And then I hit for like $4 million in my dream, and I was like, oh my god. And so like we were waiting for like the attendants to come over, and that's where the dream ended. And yeah, though I was in my I woke up, my heart was beating. I was like, oh my god, I'm a millionaire. Well, no, apparently not. But yeah, this is a cool dream. Actually, it reminds me, I meant to tell you guys about when I did the Halloween stream like 2 weeks ago. I was talking about how I was gonna go gambling with my grandpa on Halloween. I want to tell you guys about that a little bit. So that was cool. That was kind of fun, but yeah, I'm kind of tired. You know, I'd been going to casino kind of like not super regularly, but every now and again for a couple months there, and like I was never bringing that much money or anything. Like, don't worry, I was staying in my limits and everything. And of course now is the obligatory point where I should say, Jesus Christ, can this thing do 16,000 RPM? Holy crap! Or it's electric. Okay, no, it's electric. Oh my god. I was gonna say, that's an insane gearbox if it do 16,000. Okay, I think this is electric. Good god, if it's not electric, Jesus Christ. Okay, what I was saying. Yeah, I had been going, like, not super consistently, like, sometimes though, and I'd been bringing a little bit of money, but not, like, a ton, and, here's where I should mention, you know, if you have, like, a gambling issue, you know, you should reach out to somebody and, like, you know, get help for that, because I know gambling's, like, a weird topic, but, yeah, I'd gone a couple times, and I really hadn't won that much or lost that much. I was kind of breaking even. Like, sometimes I would lose a little bit of money, but not like that much, because I just wasn't bringing that much to begin with. Yeah, I went on Halloween with my grandpa, and it was okay. Like, good God, 35%. Oh my God. I had fun, but this is a long delivery, too, 10 miles. I had fun, but, so my grandpa, of course, love my family, but my grandpa can be kind of a very stubborn guy sometimes, and long story short, he was super late to getting to the casino we were going to, because he kept saying, oh, the directions you sent me, they were terrible, blah blah blah. Long story short, he took a wrong turn at one point, even though the directions told him exactly where to turn. So yeah, and he like refuses to use GPS, that kind of thing. So he was super late, and so by the time he got there, I had actually already played through all of the money that I had brought with me, and one more. I was up like $30 by the time he actually, like, I got a call from him where he was saying pretty much that he was lost, and I was already up like $30. Like, if I was going to the casino by myself, I would have left at that point, because I already won like good amount on a couple machines, and then, like, you know, up and down, and I was up like $30. But yeah, since I was still waiting for him, I ended up playing more, and then ended up losing money, which sucked. But I tried out sports betting too, which was another kind of interesting thing. The place we went to actually has like a pretty good setup for sports betting. And I actually did all right at that. But sports betting's weird because, like, sometimes you have to put a lot of money into it for like almost no return. So that's like, you know, it's one of those things where sometimes the odds will be really good, you know, and you put like $20 into it, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm probably gonna win this bet because, like, it's the odds are really good on this thing. But then if I win this bet, I'm only going to win like $2, and if I lose it, I'm going to lose 20. So, the return versus the investment is a little wonky there. But yeah, I don't really think I feel like going back to the casino for a while because yeah, it was kind of a mess the last time that I went. I didn't lose that much though, so that's good. So yeah, but that was my Halloween. It was all right. Really looking forward to Thanksgiving and Black Friday though. I always really enjoy those, and Christmas of course too. Um, yeah, I'm somebody. I know Black Friday. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, Black Friday, consumerism, blah blah blah. Yeah, dude, I'm a consumer. Yeah, let me consume. Like, I like Black Friday. Ooh, almost burped. Which is weird because I almost never burp. I budget quite a bit. Like I don't really spend that much money a lot, and Black Friday is one of the like few days a year where I kind of let myself actually spend some money. And Black Friday subsequently is also one of the few days a year where I'll buy like a bunch of new video games because they usually have them on really good sale. Last year, I remember I bought 6 or 7 PS5 games, I think it was. And like books and stuff too are usually on sale. There's usually some pretty good sales, but that'll be cool. Last year, I remember though it was weird. Like Black Friday's had some odd transformations over the past like decade, I'd say. Um, Ooh, okay. I didn't really want to restart this, but we are getting so close to bad damage that I'm gonna restart this one. Um, yeah, Black Friday. Like, I feel like I talk about this a little bit every year around Black Friday, but Black Friday, like when I was younger, it was pretty normal. Like the whole idea was, stores were gonna open like way earlier than usual, and they were gonna have crazy deals on everything, 70% off TV and blah 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 and that kind of thing. TVs are always like a big Black Friday thing for some reason. And I remember like it was always like it was gonna open early on Black Friday, and then eventually, what is going on with the graphics in TDU? This is really strange. I don't. Thing is, I would say I'm worried about my PS5, but I'm not really. Cause like it's just this game. It's probably some sort of glitch that's occurred now in TDU, but yeah. Let me Google this real quick, cause that's a little bit odd. But it doesn't look like it's, cause it's specifically in the game. Yeah, there's a bunch of people on Steam saying there's a bunch of weird glitches, which of course that's the PC version. Actually, though, I wonder if I go in my graphics settings real quick if I can mess with something. Video rendering mode, performance, graphic. No, it looks the same. Well, HDR is off. That might have something to do with it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that worried about it. It's kind of weird though that like everything's all blue. Yeah, now it's bad normal, huh? Odd. Anyway, like Black Friday, it was like stores would open really early on Friday, and like they would have really good deals, and then a couple of years there, it started cutting into Thanksgiving, which was making people upset because obviously people want to spend Thanksgiving with their families, but a bunch of stores were like, oh, we're gonna close for a couple hours, and then we're gonna open up at 9 p.m. and our Black Friday deals are gonna start then. We're gonna be open all night and that kind of stuff, and it was. Understandably, like people were getting annoyed with that, and then I think there was a little bit of like some boycotting on that type of stuff too, where people were like not shopping then to kind of show like no, like we want people to be home for the holidays, and then like I feel like it kind of went the opposite direction a couple years, where it was like almost like Black Friday kind of got squished a little bit, where it was kind of like like the stores wouldn't open early, and there would be deals, but there weren't really that many deals, and now I feel like it's in a weird spot where like it's too spread out. Like Black Friday gets confusing now because some stores are like, oh, we're gonna have this deal on Monday of the week, and then Tuesday of the week, and Wednesday of the week, and then like sometimes they don't have deals on the actual Black Friday itself. Like I remember that happened last year because I wanted to buy an Xbox Series X, and that deal was only available like the weekend before Black Friday. And oh god, last year sucked too for Black Friday because I got sick like right before Black Friday, and on Black Friday I was feeling better, but like my nose was still stuffed and stuff. Um, but yeah, like yeah. Oh god, I remember I went to buy my Xbox. And it was the weekend before Black Friday, and it was like I got home from buying my Xbox, and it just felt awful. And yeah, that was not fun. And then that was like I went to see like an ENT specialist eventually about my nose and stuff, and she had prescribed me like some antibiotics and stuff to make sure I didn't have some like crazy bacterial infection that wasn't going away. And my nose has actually felt a lot better ever since I took those antibiotics. And I kind of wonder if I got some sort of really bad, like, bacterial infection or whatever last year on Black Friday that just never went away. Because my nose just never felt quite normal, even after I started feeling better from that, until I finally did the whole, like, treatment that the ENT prescribed me. Um, and I also learned my lesson and finally got a flu shot again this year. I hadn't gotten one in a long time, and I finally got one this year. And I don't know if it'll help or not, but I hope it does, because I always remember there was one year when I was younger, my dad got a flu shot for the first time in a long time, and he was like, "Yeah, I got my flu shot for the first time this year in like a couple years," and I didn't get sick or anything. Like I felt so good over winter, and ever since then I'm like, "Oh, I should get a flu shot," and then every year goes by and I don't get it. So this year it finally put my foot down and was like, "Going, getting the flu shot." So that's what I did. But yeah. So anyway, Black Friday this year, like now it feels like stores are kind of opening early on Black Friday again, but sometimes the deals are a little questionable because they don't always have like good discounts on stuff. Yeah, I gotta restart it again. I was about to lose that one again too. I need to stop getting so distracted. I'm talking about Black Friday so much. Um, but yeah, I hope it works out because I remember like a couple years ago there was some really good deals on games. It was like the year after the PS5 came out. I hadn't really had that many games for my PS5, and then Black Friday rolled around, and they finally like put a bunch of games on sale. Like I got Riders Republic for really oh my god, got Riders Republic for really cheap, and some other stuff too. If I keep failing on this Pininfarina delivery, I might just have to give up and quit because I am kind of ready to end the stream. Wanna watch some movies and stuff, like I said. But and maybe work on some videos some more. I'm not totally sure though. I have also continued to apply for some new jobs and stuff. I've talked about that a little bit before about how just like I'd like to move out of my mom's basement someday, but it's really hard with the job market the way it is right now, especially in my area because like a billion people moved here. Um, but I've applied for some other jobs, and we'll see. Something I've been considering though is I've been thinking about trying to possibly do some like freelance work. I've been looking into like different websites that have stuff for like voice acting, voiceover stuff, audio editing, writing, proofreading stuff. Just because like I have a lot of skills with those types of things, and jobs for that type of stuff don't always pop up super often. But I know there's like a lot of freelance work out there for that. Um, the issue is like websites like Fiverr and stuff like that. Like sometimes there can be a lot of scams posted there where people they just want you to work for free, or they want to do something stupid like they want to pay you in some cryptocurrency or some nonsense. Um, and especially now with like the AI stuff, there's an abundance of stuff that has been popping up lately that looks good, and then you actually read the description, and it's just like the job is just that they pretty much want you to train an AI to take your job. Like they want you to write stuff to train an AI, or they want to use your voice to train an AI, and it's like, well, no, I don't really want to do that, especially if you're like just going to use that eventually instead of me or try to. Um, so I don't know, but I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I found a couple websites, but the other thing too is some of the like freelance work stuff is that like sometimes the websites that connect you up with that work, like they want you to pay to apply for the work, which is ridiculous. So I don't know, but I've always been kind of interested in it, or I've even considered maybe trying to look into some volunteer stuff. Like I know LibriVox, they do audiobooks of like older books and stuff. I've thought before that like maybe it could be cool to try to work on like a audiobook of one of those, because when I was in grad school, their audiobooks actually really helped me. Like speed read through a couple books, because I would my secret weapon was I would find an audiobook version of a book I was reading, and I would put it on 2 times speed and then follow along in the book like with my eyes, and I actually was able to like really comprehend stuff that way. And I would be able to get through books and chapters and stuff in like no time that way. And so it was really helpful for me. So I thought before about doing that, but when I looked into it before, it seemed like kind of confusing. Like I didn't really understand their process for like recording stuff, and it just seemed a little bit complicated, like more so than I had the time to deal with at that point. But I don't know, maybe I'll look back into that. Um, yeah, but there's a lot of stuff like that out there. But it's just like, yeah, I think it would be good to build up my resume, but we'll see. This is a very fast car. Also, I don't know if you guys can hear. My TV's volume is super low because of the way I stream. Like I don't wear headphones, but like, the controller is making this kind of funny like grumbling sound as I'm playing, because like, the enhanced vibration stuff or whatever. I think it's really interesting sometimes how developers have used the fancy vibration on the DualSense controller, not always for vibration purposes, but for sound purposes. Sometimes it's really interesting how that happens. But I have noticed that's one of those things, kind of very similar to the touchpad on PS4 and PS5, that nobody really uses it. Like there's like very few games actually use the touchpad on like PlayStation 5. Sometimes they'll use it to like let you navigate menus and stuff, but a lot of the times it isn't even that. I kind of have a feeling that the next PlayStation console might get rid of the touchpad and maybe even the fancy vibrations and triggers, because like okay, that was that was close. Um, because I just don't think that many games use it anymore. And the only way that I could see that stuff making comeback again in like the next PlayStation console would be if it's backwards compatible again, because then you would kind of need it. I think that that's literally the only reason why the PS5 still has a touchpad, is because of the few PS4 games that used it. Um, yeah, I can literally only think of one PS4 game though that actually needed the touchpad, and that's Infamous Second Son, because there's like a couple things you have to destroy that you need the touchpad. There's like a mini game that you have to use the touchpad to do, but otherwise, I can't think of like a single game that actually requires use of the touchpad. There's probably some other first party PlayStation games that do, but I don't know, like the Astro games might need that, but I really can't think of anything. We are almost there. Pininfarina is one of those car companies that I'm not entirely I'm not entirely convinced that they even exist outside of video games. Like, cause I have never seen a Pininfarina. There's a lot of car manufacturers that like they have really rare cars. Like McLaren and Koenigsegg and stuff like that. But like their cars actually exist. Like you can look up videos. Like there are people, private owners of those vehicles that actually have them. But Pininfarina is one of these car companies that like I've seen them in video games and stuff, but I've never actually seen a person own one of their cars. Like same with Spiker, and like there's a handful of car brands that like I don't know. I just do they exist? Like do they or are they only concept cars? Okay, we're not going that way then. Oh great, thanks. Hit my Pininfarina, why don't you? I believe Pininfarina I think they have like an F1 team or something too, though. I'm not entirely sure on that. Oh, speaking of cars, I have another story to tell you guys too, real quick before I end the stream. I finally fixed my truck's radio. I don't know if I ever really mentioned it on stream, but my truck's radio was not working. It was like the CD player and the aux cord would work, but the AM/FM radio wasn't working. And so it wasn't a big deal because I could like plug my phone in or whatever. But it was getting kind of annoying to have to plug my phone in whenever I wanted to listen to the radio and like have to stream it and stuff. And it would eat up my phone battery and like it was just kind of a pain. Like I want to just have normal FM radio again. And I looked it up, and I guess it's a pretty common thing with like the type of truck that I have that like the FM chip or whatever would go bad in them for some reason. And so I kind of figured I looked it up, and it actually wasn't that hard to remove that the radio from the truck, and it was in theory not that hard to like fix the issue, but you needed like a heat gun for it, or at least that was like the recommended way to do it. So I looked for a heat gun and everything, but I couldn't find like an electronics heat gun. All I could find was like these huge heat guns for like automotive work, like automotive like body work and stuff. And so I had looked around and I just couldn't find it and everything. But I was like, I have a soldering iron. Like worst thing that happens is I just break this radio and I'll have to get a new one. Like I'll probably have to replace it anyway. So why not? So I went and I did. I got it removed and I tried to work on there's the AM/FM chip is actually a lot smaller than I thought. And I tried to solder it back into place or whatever, because I guess what happens is like over time the chip will kind of like the solder will get cracked and come undone and stuff. So if you like reball it, it will like settle back into the slot and everything. Um, and I kind of tried to do that with the soldering iron, but it just I don't think it turned out quite right because it was way too small for the soldering iron, and so plugged it back in and saw smoke out of the radio, and I think it was like a capacitor that burnt out somehow. So I don't know if it was actually to do with the chip or if I just smashed something by accident. But yeah, so that was like crap, like radio's broken. So then I had to take it apart even further actually to dig out the CD that I had in it. But yeah, then I ended up I got a I wasn't totally sure how to do all of it, but I looked it up online and stuff, and I got a new radio and I got a radio harness and stuff. And something that I didn't really understand until I actually did it is that so you're gonna have to like splice wires if you're doing a radio replacement in a vehicle. And the thing is like okay, I guess I probably have one more time to do like one more thing while I tell this story. Let me find something else real quick. Here we go. Um, why is that race so far away? Okay, I think this one's slightly closer. Um, so if you're gonna do okay, actually, before I get into the story, I gotta go blow my nose again. My nose is running again. Hang on, give me 1 second here. Let me pop this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so replacing truck's radio. Yes, let me tell you guys about it. So, something that I wasn't really clear on is that like the wire splicing stuff, like you like I kept seeing about, you need to make sure that this wire matches up with this wire, and then like this and that matches up with that, and I didn't get like you need to get an adapter, of course, for the so your car when you remove the radio, there will be the spot dangling out of your radio where your previous radio connected up, and you need to get an adapter for that. In a lot of the adapters, like I didn't get how you would be able to tell what matches up with what. And long story short, apparently a lot of the aftermarket adapters and a lot of the aftermarket radios all use the same color coding. Not always, so you still need to check, but so like even if your factory radio had some weird color coding with the wires, the adapters will be made specifically for like that model of car, and they will match up the colors to aftermarket radios for you. So it's not that complicated, and of course you still want to check. But anyway, once I figured that out, I was actually like, oh okay, I probably can do this then. So I had to get like a wiring harness adapter for my truck, and then I had to get the radio and everything, and I had to get an antenna adapter too. And then, like, I've heard differing opinions on whether or not it's better to solder and heat shrink when you're connecting all this stuff up, or if it's better to crimp when you're connecting all this stuff up. And a lot of the stuff I saw online was saying you should crimp it, but and I actually do have a wire crimper, but I didn't have any actual crimps. And then I also like, but then at the same point, I was like, well, soldering and heat shrink does work. And the more that I thought about it, I was like, I saw a lot of the like anti-soldering stuff was people saying like, um, that solder can make like a weak bond or whatever. And I was like, well, if I'm heat shrinking it though, and like my truck doesn't vibrate that much, I was like, I don't know if that's such a bad idea. And I also felt impatient, so I ended up going the solder and heat shrink way about it. And I think it kind of worked, because I was also thinking with crimps like moisture and stuff. I feel like crimps might, depending on which crimp you're using, like which crimp connectors you're using, and if you're using them like totally properly, I feel like there's a chance that moisture maybe is a little more likely to get into a crimp rather than a soldered and heat shrunk thing, because a heat shrunk thing is going to like really encapsulate it if you heat shrink right. I mean, I think either way, it just kind of depends either way if you're crimping or heat shrink soldering, like if you're doing it correctly. So I went the solder and heat shrink way, and long story short, it actually seems to work. At first, when I plugged it in, it didn't work, but then it turns out that I forgot like a little adapter box thing that came with the kit that I had to plug in, so I had to plug that in, and then yeah, it works now. So now I finally have radio back in my truck again. Only thing kind of sucks is that like that radio doesn't have a CD player, so like, which I mean isn't really a huge deal. I didn't really use a CD player that much anyway until the AM/FM part broke. But I mostly wanted the AM/FM radio back again, because like I do listen to that a lot. There's a handful of stations in my area that I like to listen to. So yeah, I'm glad that is working again. The only other thing too though is I didn't get an adapter yet to actually plug the radio into the dashboard properly. So now there's just kind of a hole in my dashboard where a radio goes, where there is a radio, but it's just kind of floating in there. It's just kind of sitting in there, like it's not actually attached. But whatever, because like I need to save some money. I've had to spend way too much money lately, and it works, and that's all that matters. So I'm just glad to have a radio again. But that kind of thing does make me think, like with my Challenger and with other modern vehicles that are really reliant on like screens and stuff, just like how much of a pain it probably is going to be to replace those eventually. Because I don't know, I've looked it up before, like if there is even like a third party replacement for like a Dodge Challenger screen, and I found one, but all it was like a tutorial for it, and I couldn't actually find like the actual product, and I was like, yeah, I don't even know if this would necessarily work. So that's something that I'm a little bit concerned about in the future, because now, like, when my radio in my truck broke, it wasn't really a big deal. It's just the radio. Like, even though it sucks to not have the radio, like, the heat still works, the windows still work, like, all of everything else except for just the radio works, but, like, in my Challenger, like the screen, the infotainment screen is actually responsible for a lot. Like there's certain like heat and vent settings that you can only get to on there. There's a bunch of stuff with like the sports mode on there and stuff that you can only get to on the screen. It's like if that screen ever breaks and like, you know, I'm gonna have to replace it, like that's probably gonna be ridiculous to get replaced, like ridiculously expensive to get replaced from the dealership. But then likewise might be literally impossible to replace on your own. um so it's like if that screen breaks, am I just gonna lose functionality to parts of my car, you know? But yeah, so that's just something that I've been thinking of. It's, I don't know, I really do hope more vehicles come out. Like there's that Slate truck that's supposed to be coming out that's supposed to be really simple and stuff. I hope that we get some more vehicles like that, because it's kind of concerning how like even cheap vehicles now are so reliant on like screens and stuff, and it makes you wonder about if they will continue to be user serviceable, you know. That's one of the things that I really like about my truck. Like I've been able to fix a lot of stuff on there by myself. Like I fixed one of the mirrors on there was broken one time. I fixed that. I fixed a leak in the headliner one time on there by myself. Fixed the radio by myself. There's like another sensor on there that's broken that I'm like, you know, I should just Google and see if I can fix that myself too. I even fixed like an airbag issue in there myself one time with like an airbag sensor. That one was pretty easy though. It was just disconnected like slightly and I just had to plug it in better. But yeah. I've been considering trying to add underglow to my truck though. Now that I messed with something electronic in the truck already, I'm like, you know, man, maybe I should put some underglow on that bad boy. That'd be kind of fun. But I don't know. That seems a little bit more involved. It seems both more involved, but also not as involved. Sorry. I think it depends on the underglow kit you get. But the thing is, like, vehicles don't have like underglow connections ready to go usually, so you gotta like splice into something else a lot of the time, and that kind of makes me nervous because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to try to like splice into the headlights and then like screw up my headlight. So, you know, I'm a little hesitant about that, but we'll see. It would be really funny to have underglow beneath my truck though, because my truck is already silly looking. But yeah. Anyway though, thank you guys for watching the stream. That's gonna be pretty much it for this one. Just wanted to give y'all some updates on, you know, what I've been up to and stuff, and channel stuff. So yeah, like I said, keep in mind that I am trying like a little bit of a more chill way with doing videos and stuff, just because like, I don't know, I think I need to stop focusing on YouTube so much as like a real opportunity and just kind of as a fun thing, because I don't know, I think it's very, very hard now to make an actual career out of YouTube, if not impossible. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of work on YouTube videos when I feel like it, and not like stress myself out about them, and not set like you know, not set deadlines for myself and stuff anymore, because I don't need to, you know, like I don't have like a sponsor behind my back like, oh, you need to get this video out by, you know, November or whatever. If so, like, why stress myself out about it? Yeah, thank you guys for watching though. I'll see you in other stuff.